needs no introduction. You know why you're here. But, Lady Caroline Munro. Q&A panel. Did anyone see Carolyn's Q&A? A lot of you. Yeah. All right. So we're not going to repeat ourselves, get too deep into the guts of how you became what you became.
No, might get boring for
Well,
you.
we'll never get. Trust me, it'll never get boring.
Nope. Not with him.
No.
So,
Well, I don't know about that.
keeps you on your
I
toes.
don't know about that, but listen, we're here to watch Dracula AD 1972. Released in 1972, Hammer's attempt to sort of revive what they thought may have been a Long in the Tooth, literally, franchise.
You're working well. You're working well. No, it's true. Thank you.
Yeah. But it was their attempt that didn't necessarily, wasn't as warmly received as they had anticipated, correctly?
That's true, actually. I think people were not sure because Hammer obviously was known for the wonderful costumes and the old-fashionedness of it and the whole style of it, really. And suddenly you had this new thing that came along, Dracula AD 72, and people, I think, maybe they didn't give it a chance. I think they didn't give it a chance in the beginning, and they sort of poo-pooed it and thought, no, it's not going to do it because it's not like the thing we're used to. But subsequently, it's really, really gained legs. People have really got to like it and listen to the soundtracks, and it has echoes of the little bit of the 60s, but very much of the 70s vibe. And I stand by the film. I think it's a really, really good film with some great actors. Obviously, Chris and Peter and Christopher Neame, Stephanie Beacham, just off the night comers. Have you worked with Marlon Brando?
And Michael Winner.
And Michael Winner. That's another story.
You have a Michael Winner story?
Not really. Well, no.
Oh, come on. I know we're not here for Michael Winner stories, but.
It's not a lot of the story, but I was asked to go out by my agent for The Wicked Lady.
Okay.
For a part in The Wicked Lady.
Faye
Dunaway was the star, and he wanted to see me, so I went along to his very opulent house, right next door to the Harry house, right next door to Dave's house.
Nice.
Right there. And I met him, and he seemed all right in the beginning. And he said, nothing really untoward. It was just, anyway. So then he talked to me about it. He said, I'd like you for this part. And I said, well, it sounds interesting. It was a great cast. And then he said, well, of course you have to be naked in the film. And I just looked at him and I said, what? What is the part? What is the part about? He said, no, we need you naked. He said, Faisy is naked. Faisy is naked, you have to be naked. I said, well, I'll think on that, but thank you. Very nice to have met you. And I just didn't want to, it was just
That's
the
a
way.
very good Michael Winner story.
Really not, is
No, it is. Do you know how
It's a bit
Michael
of a letdown.
Winner spent his last days professionally? Do you know?
No, I don't.
He ended up becoming one of those most predominantly, very popular food critic.
He did.
Yeah, he was.
He actually
The line
did.
was that he made some of the most tasteful films and ended up becoming.
You made that up, didn't you?
I did, because I knew Michael a little bit.
Okay.
The Pussycat Band was like, but I know it was
Yes.
time.
He was a little bit of a town.
We're going off our tangents. Why not? Do you know Ray lived on one side of Michael? Do you know who lived on the other?
Yes. No, Jimmy Page.
Jimmy Page.
Yes.
Whoa! And that's how Jimmy Page was doing the Death Wish 2 soundtrack, because Jimmy was strung out.
Neighbor.
And he said, "Yeah, Jimmy, you want to get an extra shot?" He's like,
Yeah, I'll do it. He knows his stuff.
anyways, this neither here nor there. We're here to watch Dracula AD 1970. You are one of the Hammer Glamour queens, and you only made two.
I made the two.
The two underdogs really that have become
They were underdogs. They were because
Good.
they were different, especially Captain Cronus. They didn't think it was up to. Thank you. They didn't think it was up to par with the other Hammer. Again, it didn't have the bosoms and a lot of nudity and a lot of blood. But as you said earlier, it was such a cool thing that they didn't suck the blood, they sucked the youth. And that was so clever, Brian Clemens to have done that. It really, it made the difference, and I think it's a lovely film.
Now, very quickly, how does one become a contract player for Hammer Pictures?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, it's really weird, isn't it, that? It's very strange. But yes, they asked me, it was Sir James Carreras, and seeing these big old posters, these big, a lot of you have heard this before, but big billboards I used to do for men's dark rum, it's called Lamb's Navy Rum. And he'd seen the posters, he used to travel up and down to Brighton by the seaside on the train. And he'd seen them, he said, apparently he said, I want that girl in my office. I want to see her, I want to see her now. So I was found. And then, yeah, I was found, and I went there, and he was very charming. I mean, they were all wonderful at Hammer, actually, the people that, the officials that worked there, and the crews were incredible. So yes, I went, and they offered me a contract, which I thought, well, why not? You know, I'm not doing much else. So why not? It sounded lovely, and I got to do the 2 films. So yes, yeah, very lovely.
And like we were saying too, I mean, it really is, although poo-pooed as you say in this time,
Yeah.
it works as a double period piece now, doesn't it? You do have
I
a point,
think
and we
it
do have
does.
this era that no longer exists
Yeah,
except in this
sadly.
artificial dream world.
Yes, sadly.
So, just a reminder, we are screening one of a personal print from my collection, 16 million. If any of you have never seen a
16,
film being
yeah.
projected, like the old classroom song, real
Old school, and I love the projector.
the projector makes almost like a white noise purr. It'll take you a few minutes to become accustomed to, but then it'll become this kind of relaxing, sensual analog experience. Being an analog experience, here's the caveat. This is not Blu-ray, this is not streaming. Well, things can go wrong there too. Things can really go wrong here.
That's all part of the fun.
It's all
You're
part of
in
the
the
fun.
field, stop, and
Film print's
what are
great.
you gonna do?
We have a splice,
Yes.
bulbs pop,
But
we have to
definitely,
replace,
got to have a few
projectors
comic
die,
books.
we have
Yes.
spares. So although we've only planned for 1 intermission, there may be more. But I should tell you too, reel 1 is very short, it's about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to quickly flip to reel 2. So the entire first act of Dracula AD 1972 tonight will be about 1 hour. At the 1 hour mark, we will take a legitimate intermission where you can use the facilities, use the loo.
Use the loo,
And you can grab the top of your drinks, and we're going to do a quick little raffle prize, some cool prizes for you, and ask you a couple more questions, a little halftime show. And then if you're so inclined, if you feel like I've had enough of Dracula AD 1972, I am now dead, I no longer need to see this picture anymore, then you can certainly leave us here, but we'd be
That's
honored
very
to stay.
sweet. No, how could I leave?
Okay.